Welcome back to the Ross Bolin podcast presented by Bolin Media. I am Ross Bolin, 37-year-old father of one, stepfather of another, person to 4 dogs, and 13-year content veteran here with my producer, the man who makes it all happen, 10 years my junior, 27-year-old Cade Orris. Cade, say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
I figured I need to give like a short bio at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Because I'm sending people over here from Oysters, Clams, and Cockles and whatnot, where we have like a huge audience right now, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're not familiar with, well, with me for sure, but...
Yeah. Which, if you're listening and you're here from OCC, Cade produces Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. He's the one that does all the audio recording, video recording, editing on both sides of the ball, puts together the YouTube video for us and all that. So
making the clips, and although I had been on OCC a couple times, just not for House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, you filled in.
Yeah, so I did.
Never for House of the Dragon though.
No, I did The Last of Us for an episode, Succession, I think, and Shogun.
Okay.
So yeah, stepping up when you need me to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Please clap.
Good for you, clapping for yourself, Cade. Another big break between episodes, between this episode of RBP and our last, as we took off last week due to yet another unforeseen, unfortunate event throwing my schedule into chaos. And I talked about it briefly on Patreon last week, but I'm ready to give sort of a full account of what occurred. Last Wednesday, one of my dogs, little Bella, the 8-pound toy Australian Shepherd, the smallest of the 4, decided to pick a fight with one of my other dogs, the largest of the 4, Harvey, the 90-pound Doberman. And it did not go well for Bella. Basically, what happened is the dogs eat 2 different kinds of food. Bruce and Bella have a food they've been eating for years and years, since before my wife and I even met. And Harvey and Penny, my other 2 dogs, eat a different kind of food, dry food. We had run out of dry food, and so my wife was bringing home a small bag of dry food to hold us over until the delivery of the large bag of dry food arrived. And I had the bag up on the counter, and my 1-year-old was like, he was trying to get at it. He wanted to see it. It was a red bag. So he was like, oh, shiny object. So I took it off the counter, and without thinking about it, I put it on the ground for him to look at for a second. And then I literally turned my back for like maybe 10 seconds. And I guess Bella and Harvey both went for the bag to like smell it. And then like he got 2 in her face or something. I've seen them do stuff like this before, so I'm kind of assuming, because again, I was not looking, but I'm assuming she snarled at him or like snapped at him, and boom. The next thing I know, Bella is like screaming like a banshee. The noise that these little Aussies make when they're in pain is awful. I won't even try to replicate it because it will blow out the speakers in your car or your AirPods or however you're listening or watching. But she's screaming. I like turn around. She's like running under the table, and there's blood spurting out of her head all over the kitchen. And I cannot stress enough how terrifying this was, because she's very, very small. I could not tell where the blood was coming from. And based on the way it was like spraying out, like heartbeat, like, you know, you've seen like in movies and TV shows, like somebody gets like an artery cut like in their neck or their thigh, and it spurts out. It was doing that. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm like full meltdown, dude. Like I like to think of myself as a person that during dire circumstances handles himself well, and I really don't. The only time I've ever been in like a situation where I felt like life or death was with my dogs, and neither time have I handled it well. Like, I just don't respond to stress around my dogs well at all. I hope if anything remotely similar ever happens to my kids, which first of all, I obviously hope it doesn't, but if it did, I hope that I would respond better than I do when bad shit happens to my dogs. Because I was like, oh my God, I can't. It was cartoonish. Like, my reaction was so dramatic. But in my opinion, given the circumstances, it warranted. dramatic response from me. So blood. It looks like somebody was shot, dude. Like, it's a lot of blood. She's a very small dog. I'm like, get in the car. We got to go now. Like, now. Because there's this animal hospital, like an emergency room for animals around the corner. It's probably like a 2-minute drive from my house. So I don't even put shoes on. I just scoop her up, and I'm like holding her head and trying to see like where the blood is coming out of. And it seems like it's probably her nose. But we get in the car. It was like about to be dinner time. And with small kids, like breaking routine is a big deal. We have to get the kids in the car because I'm like, I can't drive. I've got to hold her. My wife is driving. We get over there. I get out of the car. I'm running up to this animal ER, like as it's about to close. So like people are walking out.
Wait, they close?
I guess they have like a set time. Maybe they have like an emergency staff that stays after hours, but like the regular staff is like getting ready to leave. Like two people are walking out the front door as I'm running through the parking lot, holding this tiny dog. And I mean, covered in blood, dude. The most blood I've ever had on me, by far. It looked like I was in a fucking, like a gunfight. Yeah. Like, it looked absurd. Every single person looking at me that I passed was like, oh, God. I'm just holding this tiny dog, like, help! We get inside, the doctor, like, takes a look at her, basically figures out that, like, she's got, like, a puncture from one of his teeth in the top of her head, a puncture from one of his teeth in her nose, and then the nose is where the blood was coming from. So, like, I thought it was, like, her neck, and I was freaking out. It was her nose that she was having issues with, and every time she was going, like, that's when the blood was spurting. So it wasn't, like, her heartbeat, like, shooting blood out of, like, the side of her head like I thought it was. Anyway, they take her and they, like, sedate her so they can do x-rays and put 2 staples in her head to close the head wound, like, just to be safe. It wasn't that deep, but it was like, you can't just leave an open wound on the top of your head. While they had her in there, a nurse came in and brought me, like, I guess one of the vet techs that got fired at some point, like, his shirt said, like, Luke on it.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, would you mind changing into this shirt? Like, you're freaking everybody out. So I had to go into the bathroom, and they, like, gave me a towel. I had blood all over my arms, like, all over my face, my neck. I take the shirt off. It was actually, ironically, an Oysters, Clams, and Cockles shirt from, like...
Oh, that's a bummer. I was about to
ask,
of the
like,
old
what school ones, dude.
Okay.
Like, one of the ones from, like, 2017. I did take it off and just threw it in the trash. I was like, I never want to see this again. I put on this random dude's vet tech shirt. Like, I had to clean myself all off, go back and wait in the waiting room or whatever. So they did x-rays. She had, like, 2... The fear was that they were going to need to do surgery, like that her skull was going to be busted or, like, her neck would be fractured or something. They did the x-rays. They saw, like, a small, like, hairline fracture in the bridge of her nose and, like, one in her skull, neither of which was bad enough to do anything. And great news, like, best case scenario considering the circumstance. Like, I genuinely thought she was going to die. Like, I was like, this is it. She's a goner, all because of this stupid accident that was entirely my fault, which is not ideal. Obviously, I didn't think that putting food on the ground for 1 second would turn into this mayhem. But, like, I know that my dogs have food aggression. Like, this is why I feed them separately. I do not feed them all in the same room. The Aussies go in one room. The Doberman and the Cavalier Pomeranian go in another room. So I felt terrible before, during, and after the fact because it was just like I felt like it was all my fault. But, yeah, no surgery needed. She's on antibiotics. She's got a few more days left of that. And this was, like, last Wednesday, so it's been over a week. They gave her, like, 2 different types of pain medication because obviously, you crack your skull. It's
going to hurt a little bit.
Can't feel good,
no.
Assuming there's some headaches and shit involved. So she's got a couple different types of pain medication that she's been on. She's been recovering very, very well so far. But, yeah, that fucked up my last week.
Yep.
So
it's always something.
It's a new month, though, Cade.
It is the start of a new month.
It's August.
Yeah. No issues have arisen yet.
Nothing yet.
No. Cross our fingers and we'll knock on wood.
We're half of a day in. Everything is smooth sailing so far. So maybe if I just lock myself, my dogs, and my children in different rooms of my house, everyone will be safe and sound. There's no plants around to give me any weird rashes. No dog attacks can occur. And we can stick to our schedule.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
For August. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be huge. A big one for us.
Yeah, anyway, lesson learned. Bella's going to be fine, but, Yeah, it was a traumatizing nightmare that I look forward to further unpacking with my therapist after today's recording. I'm not even joking. That'll probably be the only thing I talk about.
Yeah.
Because, what else are you going to do in there?
Right.
Therapy. It'll probably uncover some deep-seated childhood wound that I needed to get over anyway. So yeah, that's what went on last week. That's why the schedule was wonky. That's why we only did a Patreon episode, but we're back today. Bella's good. I'm good. Everybody's good. We're all hunky-dory. Prayers up that August is a less stressful and chaotic month. I'm taking my wife to a Niall Horan concert this Saturday for her birthday. You know who that is?
Oh, that's exciting. Yes, I do, because you mentioned him before.
Yeah, he's on The Voice.
Yeah, that's how he got to start. Then he joined One Direction, or that's how they became a thing, right?
Was he on One Direction?
I'm pretty sure that's how they all started. It was from The Voice.
When you say they all, do you mean all Irish and British singers?
No, I mean the people in One Direction. They were all on The Voice.
He was a One Direction guy.
Yeah.
I did not realize
That's
that.
how they got their start.
Okay.
Simon Cowell was like, yeah, all you guys aren't that great individually, but if you formed a group, then y'all might be able to do something.
Well, now he's individually crushing it. Because I saw him at ACL.
Yeah, that's where you first mentioned
Right,
him.
yeah. My wife was like, can we see this guy? And I was like, I have no fucking idea who this is, but sure. And honestly, he put on a hell of a show. But my wife's birthday was last week, and I got her tickets for Niall Horan because we saw him at ACL. She seemed to enjoy him. We're going this Saturday. And guess where I got the tickets? Today's sponsor, Game Time. I'm a huge fan of live music, going to concerts, also attending live sporting events. There's no better way to make lasting memories, and there's nowhere better to get tickets for all of the aforementioned than Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets for concerts and events faster and easier, even if you don't buy the tickets right away. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying concert tickets. Got the Game Time app on my phone. I can pull it up right now and tell you in Austin, first of all, we obviously have a ton of different live music and comedy shows being in Austin, Texas. But we've also got Austin FC soccer matches. We got WWE coming up this month in August.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Round Rock Express baseball games, racing out at the Circuit of the Americas, all number of musicians and artists coming through. Game Time has it all and makes it incredibly easy to find and buy tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Game Time's also just extremely helpful. If you're like me and you're not super plugged into the social pipeline, download the Game Time app and it'll just tell you all of the events in your area. You can see what's happening tonight, see what's coming up on the calendar. You can grab last-minute tickets if you're feeling spontaneous. Also, they hit you with flash deals, zone deals. You can check out the view from all of the seats in the venue before you purchase, so you're not going to feel bamboozled when you get to your seat and realize that you can't see shit. With last-minute deals, you save up to 60% off by buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Game Time also offers lowest price guarantees, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and so much more. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BOLIN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account, download the Game Time app, create an account, redeem code BOLEN, BOLIN, as in Ross Bolin podcast, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Grab your light, this is Stop the Wikipedia when you're high.
Stop the Wikipedia when you're
All right, let's learn something, Cade.
Let's do it.
What say you? Say yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
All right, yeah. Today's Stuff to Wikipedia when you're high is the thing, parentheses, listening device.
Okay, so not the horror sci-fi movie from the 1980s?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Something completely different.
And I love how they specify on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
They just chunk some parentheses up there. And in this case, it's a listening device. The thing, also known as the Great Seal Bug, was one of the first covert listening devices, or bugs, to use passive techniques to transmit an audio signal. It was concealed inside a gift given by the Soviet Union to W. Averill Harriman, the United States ambassador to the Soviet Union, on August 4th of 1945. So because it was passive, needing electromagnetic energy from an outside source to become energized and active. It is considered a predecessor of radio frequency identification, RFID, technology. The thing consisted of a tiny capacitive membrane connected to a small quarter wavelength antenna. It had no power supply, no active electronic components. So the device, a passive cavity resonator, became active only when a radio signal of the correct frequency was sent to the device from an external transmitter. This is referred to in NSA parlance as illuminating a passive device. Sound waves from voices inside the ambassador's office, in this case, passed through the thin wood case, striking the membrane and causing it to vibrate. The movement of the membrane varied the capacitance seen by the antenna, which in turn modulated the radio waves that struck and were retransmitted by the thing. So my understanding is that somebody had to actually be talking in the room and at a loud enough frequency for this thing, to
pick it up,
activate, and record. So it says a receiver demodulated the signal so that sound picked up by the microphone could be heard, just as an ordinary radio receiver demodulates radio signals and outputs sound. Now, I'm not a fucking radio
So if no one's talking,
genius.
that's like not on.
I believe that is the case,
Okay.
yeah. So its design made the listening device very difficult to detect because it was very small, it had no power supply or active electronic components, and did not radiate any signal at all unless it was being actively irradiated remotely. So the only other thing I can assume or guess here is that like somebody had to be sending a certain frequency at it for it to be activated. It's either that and or you had to be talking in the room for it to be activated. That's my general understanding based on this Wikipedia article. The same design features, along with the overall simplicity of the device, made it very reliable and gave it a potentially unlimited operational life. So it's not like it was going to run out of battery and they'd have to like sneak in there and switch out the battery or some shit. Like it would just work forever, in theory. The device, which was embedded in a carved wooden plaque of the Great Seal of the United States, was used by the Soviet government to spy on the U.S. What a dick move, first of all. If you're going to give a gift to spy on, one of our ambassadors, don't make it the Great Seal of the United States. It's just even more ironic and shitty. So on August 4th, 1945, several weeks before the end of World War II, a delegation from the Young Pioneer Organization of the Soviet Union presented the bugged carving to Ambassador Harriman as a gesture of friendship to the Soviet Union's war ally, dicks. It hung in the ambassador's Moscow residential study at Spaso House for 7 years before it was exposed in 1952 during the tenure of Ambassador George F. Kennan. Also, I'm just trying to imagine being spied on for 7 years.
Yeah, without knowing.
And then finding out and being like, oh my God, who knows what kind of fucked up shit I said over the last 7 years. The existence of the bug was discovered accidentally in 1951 by a British radio operator at the British Embassy who overheard American conversations on an open Soviet Air Force radio channel as the Soviets were beaming radio waves at the ambassador's office. Okay, so there's our answer. In order for this thing to function, they had to beam radio waves at the ambassador's office so that those radio waves would hit the transmitter inside of the spy device, and that's when it would be turned on.
Okay.
So they had certain time, if they like knew somebody was going into the office or something, they would beam radio waves at this thing and then it would start recording.
So it wasn't just on all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It says an American State Department employee was that. So anyway, these people, the British radio operator at the British Embassy who accidentally overhears this American conversation on a Soviet Air Force radio channel is like, what the hell? And an American State Department employee is then able to reproduce the results using an untuned wideband receiver with a simple diode detector demodulator similar to some field strength meters. Two additional State Department employees, John W. Ford and Joseph Bejian, were sent to Moscow in March 1951 to investigate this and other suspected bugs in the British and Canadian embassy buildings. They conducted a counter-surveillance sweep of the ambassador's office using a signal generator and a receiver in a setup that generates audio feedback if the sound from the room is transmitted on a given frequency. And during the sweep, they found the device in the Great Seal carving. The FBI, CIA, and the Naval Research Laboratory and other U.S. agencies all analyzed the device, along with assistance from the British government agency MI5 and the British Marconi Company. Marconi technician Peter Wright, a British scientist and later MI5 counterintelligence officer, ran the investigation. He was able to get the thing working reliably with an illuminating frequency of 800 megahertz. The generator which had discovered the device was tuned to 1800 megahertz. Wright's examination led to the development of a similar British system codenamed Satyr, S-A-T-Y-R, used throughout the 1950s by the British Americans, Canadians, and Australians. Anyway, that's the gist of it. The one thing I want to know is, like, how did they land on calling it the thing?
Yeah, not very creative with that name.
They got super lazy with it.
Yeah. But so essentially, like, after we found this bug,
We made our version.
we
of
made our own, yeah,
it and then used it
and then used it
in
on
the 1950s.
yeah.
Probably on them.
on the Soviets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
So they would like
Beam their radio signal in
beam
there.
their radio signals, and then like that's how they would be able to get what they're
and
saying.
it would transmit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to them. Yeah. So it's not recording. I kept
Yeah.
saying recording. That's not correct. But this does remind me of an episode of The Sopranos where Tony Soprano goes. This is not a spoiler. Tony Soprano goes to. Well, I guess it kind of is, but not really. He goes to lunch, meets with this guy that, like, I guess he's been doing business with for years. He's a new character when he's introduced to us. And the guy gifts him this big painting of the Rat Pack.
Okay.
And Tony's like, "Oh, wow, thank you so much for this painting of the Rat Pack. Quite random." And the dude's wearing a hat when they're meeting, like kind of an obvious hat.
Like he like knows this guy isn't one to wear a hat usually.
Sort of. Long story short, he ends up finding out there's like a rat. Somebody's working with the feds, and it's this dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably had like a microphone in his hat. Tony goes and meets with him again. He like refuses to take his hat off, but then he also thinks the painting is bugged, so he just throws it in the trash.
Yeah, they use bugs a few times in that. You always got to sweep the room.
Oh yeah,
When
people
you're-
are getting wired up and shit.
Yeah. Got to sweep the room, make sure there aren't any bugs.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
sweep the office.
You should, yeah.
You know, we have bugs that we put in here, like the ones we're talking into, but you never know.
Well, yeah, the competition might be trying to listen in on our secrets.
Can't have that.
No, we can't. Yeah.
That's this week's Stuff to Wikipedia When You're High. The Thing. Last week I did my 200th Fitbod workout. I've actually done 203 as of yesterday, not to brag. Big milestone, I know. Thank you. Thank you. When I'm working out, there are a few essentials I absolutely must have. My headphones for my music, my water bottle with my supplements mixed in, and my Fitbod app on my phone. Today's episode is brought to you by Fitbod, a fitness app that creates completely personalized workouts that adapt as you improve. Whether you are a seasoned gym goer or just starting your fitness journey, the essential your workout really needs is Fitbod. It's a fitness app that customizes each workout based on your goals and adapts them as you improve. It's like having your own personal trainer, but better. It's cheaper. You can work out anywhere with or without equipment. It's easy to build a custom fitness plan that works for you. Also, it doesn't yell at you or sweat on you or give you awkward motivational speeches when you're just trying to get some fitness in. I've been using Fitbod for over a year now. It's legitimately awesome. Before I started using Fitbod, I did the exact same workouts every time I worked out for years, and that mundane repetition wasn't really doing anything for my body, so I plateaued hard. Since I started using Fitbod, though, transformed my body at 37 years old. I can honestly say I'm in the best shape of my life. Completely avoided dad bod so far, which is huge. Fitbod is the future. It has everything you wish those other apps had. It's honestly been one of the most positive additions I've ever made to my life. Maybe my favorite sponsor the show has ever had. Fitbod is an essential part of my routine every single week. No exaggeration. It adapts as I progress, and because it lets me rate each exercise within my workout, it learns how difficult or easy it was for me and adjusts accordingly. It lets me set a goal. In my case, 4 workouts a week, helps me hold myself accountable to my fitness journey. And if you're thinking, Ross, I don't know how to do workouts. I've never played sports. I don't do gyms. Don't worry about that. Doesn't matter. With each lift or movement that Fitbod gives you to do, it's also going to provide multiple videos for you to watch from different angles to see exactly what you're supposed to be doing, as well as providing a text description of each movement so you're never lost and you feel confident when it comes time to fight whatever celebrity it is that you're looking to fight. Add Fitbod to your workout essentials. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your subscription or try the app free at fitbod.me/Ross. That's fitbod.me/Ross for 25% off your Fitbod subscription. Or try the app for free. Speaking of Fitbods, been watching a silly amount of the Olympics because we are now in this 2-week stretch of summer where we have no childcare for my kids before school starts back up. So we're all just stuck in the house losing our minds because it's too hot to do anything outside for too long. We basically live on Arrakis. So I've been watching the Olympics a lot.
Yeah, having it on at the office.
Throw it on in the
During the day,
background. It's
yeah.
nice. No Pat McAfee show.
No, it's been great.
Plenty of Olympics, saving Cade's sanity. They're taking place in Paris, France. We watched some of the opening ceremony last week. I think that was Friday, maybe? Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday? Friday?
Friday, yeah.
Opening ceremony was kind of cool, just because it's Paris. You know, it's one of the most famous cities in the world. Got a ton of different monuments and landmarks that we're all aware of. And the Eiffel Tower, you know, was a huge part of it. They fucking stuck Celine Dion up there
Oh, on the
Eiffel Tower,
Get a little performance.
which was tight.
yeah.
Lady Gaga performed at one point, which was, you know,
Kind of seemed like very like American, like or at least like the people they had.
well, Gaga's American.
Is Celine?
She's Canadian.
Oh, okay.
So I think they were trying to give a little mix of everybody.
Okay. I mean, I also saw Snoop Dogg was like the torch bearer.
He was
thing.
one of the torch people. Yeah,
Or they have a bunch of torch bearers.
ton of them. Like a ridiculous amount of people carry the torch at different points. But
I guess I just hear like the American.
because
side,
you've brought
so.
Snoop up though. He's out there. He's been doing like commentating and like doing some
Yeah.
interviews and shit. He's part of like the media team. I don't know if I can name a person who's better like maybe Shaq, famous NBA basketball player, like has an incredibly well sustained media presence, you know, 20 years later. Snoop, famous rapper, but by no means like, I mean, I guess one of the most famous rappers in the late 80s, early 90s. Kind of faded, you know, into the early 2000s. He had a couple more hits or whatever, Drop It Like It's Hot and shit, but that was it. But he still stays relevant like pretty much constantly. He's always doing something. He's really, really funny, great personality, perpetually stoned, and yet still getting paid and getting gigs all of the time. He's just done such a good job with his career, and he must have an incredible team.
Right. Yeah. Especially to like start off as like a gangster rapper,
And then
like,
end up as like an Olympic representative of the United States
Yeah,
who also does media and interviews. Like they were letting him interview Simone Biles' like parents and sister. You know, it's like a big part. It's like a big job. Anyway, loves Snoop. I've never heard anybody say they don't like Snoop. He's just a really likable guy, and cracks me up. But yeah, he's out there. They had like during the opening ceremony, some like psycho dressed in an Assassin's Creed outfit, like running along the rooftops of Paris with the torch. It was like a fencing mask on. It was I don't understand what was happening there. Some of it might have been pre-taped. At one point, that same person was like riding on a mechanical horse across the Seine River. Which
Yeah, that was kind of sick though.
it was visually pretty stunning. And they spent like $1.2 billion trying to clean up this river before the Olympics, and apparently, you know,
didn't go well for
it
them.
didn't go as well as they had hoped
Yeah.
because now they're like not able to have people swimming in it. Apparently, it's like
Well, didn't they just do the triathlon?
I think they had issues though.
Oh, why
Like-
were people like growing like third arms and
Yeah,
stuff when they got out of the
fucking
water?
saw some headlines after the fact. They were like, "This is too toxic. We don't know if we're going to be able to use this anymore." So that was $1 billion well used. Anyway, at first I thought the opening ceremony was kind of lame, but like 30 minutes in, I was like, "This is actually incredibly tight."
Yeah.
It was cool.
And then they had that Minions thing on top of it.
Yeah,
I don't know
of course they got a Minions plug in
Yeah.
there. I want to know what the Minions paid to. Because they've got the new movie
Yeah,
coming out.
that
So
just
that was
came
like
out,
that was
yeah.
for sure advertising, right?
Oh,
Is
for
it
sure.
out already?
Yeah.
Did you go see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't bought a child's ticket yet, or used your fucking movie pass?
No, I need to though because I can go see it for free now. Basically.
Banana. I love the Minions.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know
they're
if,
great,
if
yeah.
I've made that clear enough over the years. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of the Olympics. Actually, right before we came in to start recording, we were watching the women's gymnastics. These little girls are freaks, dude. Like Simone Biles won gold yet again. Congratulations to her. Another Houston person.
The GOAT.
Some have said is almost as well known and successful as I am.
Right.
We've been compared to each other a lot, Simone Biles and I, over the course of our careers.
Yeah, very very similar career paths you guys have taken.
And just, build and stature, we're built the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Internally, in terms of heart. Yeah, she's like 4'8", dude. She's really little bitty.
Yeah, she's a short queen.
Yeah, and she just she can just do stuff, man. Flips.
She can just do stuff,
She's doing flips through the air at like a rate that no one else can compete with. I was talking to Kade. I was like, I hope they just, obviously I think she didn't compete in Tokyo because she was having mental health issues and people were all over her ass because of this, which is absurd. I was saying to Kade, just watching each of these girls go up and compete on like the balance beam thing and then the floor routine, and you can tell they're all incredibly anxious, like so nervous, like their ankles are shaking and shit. Because they've worked their whole lives to get to this point where they're performing with like 40 different video cameras pointed at them, hundreds of, regular cameras pointed at them in a stadium filled with thousands of people all staring at them. And they have to
on top of millions
on
watching
TV,
them on TV.
While the commentators are picking apart every little move they make. And it's so like nerve-wracking. And it's so impressive to me that they're able to do this at all. And I was telling Kate, I hope they're provided with they should each have a personal therapist with them on this trip to just download and let it all out between competitions or whatever. Because it's like has to be hell.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like us, non-athletic people, we can never imagine.
No, there's not a circumstance.
Stress,
for most 99.9% of the planet, there's not a circumstance where you're judged like that.
Yeah, no, I can't think of any.
All that scrutiny. It's just not good for a person.
No, it's really not.
You don't want to go through that. So, anyway, women's gymnastics was really fun, just because it's so unbelievable. Like doing a flip on a pommel horse or whatever it's called, and landing and striking a pose is not a thing I ever had a shot at doing.
Yeah, I will say there was a male U.S. gymnast who was like taking a nap right before.
Oh, I saw this guy.
The dude with the
that
glasses.
was the pommel horse, yeah.
Yeah. He was so
zenned out.
Yeah, he was chilling. He wasn't letting the outside noise.
That's a mental master.
Yeah.
That's what I strive for. What that guy had. Just they said his name. He's like, oh, guess it's time. Takes off his glasses, goes up there, crushes, and I'm pretty sure they won gold. Or they medaled. Yeah.
They medaled. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. And that was his only event. That's the only thing he had to focus on and do was the fucking hand.
Yeah. I watched a video of that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. That's insane.
The upper body strength.
Yeah. The core strength, all of that. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, not us, buddy.
No, not us. No.
Not us. Now, the men's gymnastics is really cool as well. This morning, I walked into my living room, and my wife is watching what to me looked like speed walking.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's called race walking.
I thought it was called speed walking.
It's called race walking.
Did they switch up the name?
I think in the Olympics, it's called race walking because you're racing while walking.
I mean, but the speed walking can also just be a race.
Yeah, but I think speed walking is what it's called when you're doing it non-competitively. Like you and I could go out and do speed walking on the street right now, just walking as fast as we can.
Yeah, we could also run, and that's no.
Yeah, but
that's
that
also a race.
Would that'd be called running though?
Yeah. But I don't.
I'm just telling you what it says on the screen.
I got you. Yeah.
It says race walking, and it is speed walking, though, to be clear. That's what they're doing. And it's a bunch of dudes in a pack, but they operate in teams.
Oh, okay.
Somehow. I couldn't really get a full grasp on it watching this for 10 minutes, but I was so fucking confused. There were so many people around this track watching these men walk as fast as they can. And they're it's like a fine line you have to balance
between running and trying to walk as fast as you can.
That's one of the questions I had. I was like, how do they determine if somebody goes too hard and they're no longer in fact race walking, they're now running?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think it's that you can't bounce. You have to stay
upright.
There can't be any up and down. It's just you're completely sturdy. And I don't know if maybe you have to have one foot on the ground at all times or something like that.
I could see that being a rule that they have.
I don't know, but it was nuts. It was a lot. It was like F1. There's like pit stops and shit. I had no clue what was going. It was fucking crazy. But the dude who won the race walking event busts through the finish line, right? Like they've got the ribbon at the end. He like busts through it, walking though. And then he fucking hit the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration where you jump up and you do
Yeah.
The dude who won the speed walking race hit the Cristiano Ronaldo. I was like, come on, bro. Also, I just don't. How do you decide that's what you're going with?
Like that's the sport you're gonna focus on.
Yeah, like do you go to like? Are you at like a Black Friday sale when you're 9 years old and the doors open and you fucking speed walk to the Spencer's Gifts to like catch the hot deal before everybody else does? You grab a PS5 or whatever. And your mom is like, my God, you're really good at that.
Yeah, you should consider.
You were walking your ass off.
Yeah, try out for the Olympics.
Maybe we get you into to speed walking, to race walking, to whatever, fucking speed race walking.
Yeah, no, I had this question about like a lot of the sports in the
Yeah?
Olympics, like how, like, because they're so like a lot of them are obscure, like you don't like really hear about them. Like how you're like, okay, like I found my niche, and like I'm gonna like compete at this and like try to be the best in the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, example, ping pong. You've played ping pong before, right, kid?
Yeah.
Right?
Of course, yeah.
Like somebody had a ping pong table in college or whatever. We used to have one at my old office. J-Bone and I used to play ping pong together all the time. Like we competed. Like we got fired up during these ping pong matches. And I'm assuming with ping pong, at some point you probably realize like, God damn, I am really fucking good at ping pong. Because ping pong is not that uncommon. It's a thing that comes up. Schools and summer camps and, there's ping pong tables around. You can buy them at the sporting goods store. Everybody knows about ping pong. Forrest Gump played ping pong, right?
I think he won a medal.
Yeah, he did. He represented the United States in the Olympics famously.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, the GOAT. But so ping pong, I get it. I get how people end up being Olympic ping pong players, which, by the way, I've also watched quite a bit of, and it is fucking wild how good these people are. They do doubles ping pong.
Yeah, I was watching the doubles. I'm like, that's crazy.
Two people on each side of the table just fucking going
hit the
ham.
shit
And
out of
they
it.
hit the shit out of the ping pong ball, dude.
Yeah.
It is something else. And then in the singles, I love watching these guys. They get down there with their fucking head right next to the table. My wife thought they were headbutting the ping pong ball across back and forth. I was like, no.
Because
Because you can't, they do the thing where they like bang down. Anyway, point being, I understand how somebody ends up being an Olympic ping pong player. There's a path to it that I can see in my mind. I don't understand how somebody becomes an Olympic speed walker. The path to it doesn't exist in my mind. I don't get it. Another example, though. Sand volleyball. The, 2-on-2 that they do out there in the volleyball pit. First of all, love sand volleyball. So much fun. Had a sand volleyball pit at the frat house in college.
we did too, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
Huge win.
Yeah.
Love that. Used to play not sand, but outdoor on the grass volleyball in my grandma's backyard a lot growing up with like my whole family at Thanksgiving and shit. That was fun as hell. Anyway, watching men's sand volleyball, I see a familiar face.
Yeah, Chase Budinger.
Former Houston Rockets great. He wasn't great, but he was a Houston Rocket for a while. Beloved, fan favorite guy. He's on the Olympic volleyball team, on the sand volleyball team. So it's like he flamed out of the NBA eventually, and I shouldn't put it that way and act like it's like some knock against him, but he had a decent little NBA career there, made millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, fuck it. I'm good at volleyball. I'm going to go try to be an Olympic sand volleyball player. And he did. So, like, I get that. But back to speed walking. How the fuck do you end up being an Olympic speed walker?
I really don't know.
Because
I get like,
I know you
like
don't
do,
know, Cade.
do- I mean, I get like the doing like track or whatever, but like even like when you're like doing track in high school, there isn't like a speed walk or race walking event.
There's no mainstream version of this. I'm aware of old people who go mall walking.
Mm-hmm. But
That doesn't have anything to do with this,
they're not
though.
competing in the Olympics. No.
These are young, very fit people shagging ass while walking as fast as they possibly can. And there's like hilarious strategy to it too. Like the way they pass each other and shit, there's like pump fakes. Like, oh, you thought I was going left, I'm going right. But they're walking, Cade. It's so funny. You know how you watch well, maybe you don't, but you'll watch like the Boston Marathon on TV, and they run past a hydration station.
Yeah.
So they go over and they grab a cup of water and they like dump it on themselves and a little bit in their mouths, and they keep hauling ass. They're doing this while they don't stop. They run past the table while running. They grab a cup. They continue running. They dump it over their heads and they throw the cup to the side. They have a hydration station during the race walking, except they're walking. So it's a bunch of people walking as fast as they can, and they're moving their little hips, just swaying them back and forth, just fucking hauling ass, but walking, making sure not to haul too much ass and start running. And then they get over to the hydration table, and they all swerve over. They grab a cup, and they're throwing it on themselves, and then spiking it to the ground while walking.
They have to haul the perfect amount of ass.
Just the right amount of ass. Because you go too fast, and suddenly you're running. It's no longer race walking, and you get fucking disqualified if you run, kid. You can't run.
You can't run in the
This
race
is a walking event. But I'm looking at all these dudes, and they look fit as shit. Like they look like marathon runners, and
Yeah,
track
how
athletes.
long was it? Like how many, I don't know, kilometers or miles, whatever the fuck.
I don't know, but it's like a track.
Yeah.
It's not a straight race, so it's
Right.
like it like went around a tree, and they had these people posted up. Yeah, dude, there was like a tree in the middle of it, and
So they're not doing that like the Olympic
no,
track. Oh,
no.
it's like a completely different.
On the streets of Paris.
Oh, okay.
Right next to the fucking Eiffel Tower, like prime real estate. Eiffel Tower right there in the background. Fucking race walking. I was losing it. I was like, I can't believe this is like a legit event. We've been talking about this for weeks, like how there's all these weird events at the Olympics, but nothing has made my head spin quite the way that the race walking did this morning. Because I need to know the path to that career. Brought up ping pong. I saw one of the best ping pongers in the world. I don't know if they're called that, but she was talking about like how it's kind of a bummer because she's like the best in the world and she can't make a living doing it.
No, they don't have like.
She's pulling in like $20K a year as the greatest ping pong player on earth.
Yeah, they don't have like a bunch of tournaments.
Not
for them
enough,
to compete
and not enough sponsors, and like not enough people care about ping pong in the off season when it's not the Olympics, right? Like no one is watching fucking ping pong. So race walkers can't be making shit. Like who the fuck is race walking? And that's how they stay prepared and train for this. I've got so many questions about race walking, but at the top of the list is how do you end up realizing, wow, I walk faster than everybody else? Because like I had a friend in college named Matt. Sometimes we would go to class together. We would walk to the quad together. Mm-hmm. And this dude, he was walking very fast. And I would be like, Matt, dude, you got to slow down. He's like, bro, this is the speed I walk at. You got to keep up with me. So like doing this week after week with Matt, it made me eventually become a faster walker.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of the same way. I've always been told I was a pretty fast walker.
Really?
But I never thought like, oh, you know what? I should like try out for the Olympics as a speed walker.
Maybe you missed your calling.
I might have, yeah.
Fuck.
Could have been an Olympic athlete.
It's not too late. Some of these guys were like 33.
That's true. Yeah, I need to start preparing for the next Olympics, wherever that's at.
Yeah, walking longer longevity in terms of a career because it's not doing as much damage to your legs as running. Mm-hmm. So like you're able to maintain at the top of your game like into your early 30s instead of becoming worthless like at everything else when you hit your early 30s.
Yeah.
Anyway, the dude hit the Cristiano Ronaldo and I was just like, oh my God. That dude is like, is that dude getting laid? Yeah.
I mean, like
tonight? Like,
yeah.
You did it. Gold in walking.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you won a gold medal at the Olympics. I feel like that'll
do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's
One of those
easy sell.
One of those Parisian ladies will do something French to your dinghy. Anyway, loved race walking. I watched some BMX freestyle stuff, which I'm not a big X Games guy. Like I went when it was in Austin once. And, it was pretty tight. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not disrespecting whatever the extreme athletes, but I just never really was a BMX guy or a skateboarder. It was never my cup of tea. But watching these fuckers do BMX freestyle, which is where they're just in the like bike park, skate park, whatever, BMX park, and they're just doing the full blown freestyle, whatever they can. It's not just the half pipe. They're like going around and like grinding and then flying up a quarter pipe and then coming back down and going and jumping over a thing of stairs. The shit that these dudes can do on a bicycle melted my brain and just made me feel like a pussy. I was like, if I tried one of these things, I would break like 8 different bones in my body.
Yeah, if I just tried to like clear some stairs, I'm like
Game over.
shit. Yeah.
Hospitalized. Yeah, it's fucking bonkers how much, like, you have to be very brave.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Have to have a serious sack on you to be an extreme athlete that does the BMX freestyle or even the skateboarding thing, which didn't you say it was like a 7-year-old or some shit?
That might have been in
just-
2020. I think when there was like a really like young kid that like I think medaled too.
I think that freak is back out there.
Probably. But I saw in skateboarding, at least in men's, we have like a really good skateboarder for men's, Nigel Hudson or
Okay.
Houston. I remember like watching some of his videos in college. He was like completely stoned, just like, oh fuck yeah, that was sick. So I remember like hearing his name and stuff. I was like, oh my god, that's the guy. And like
Nigel Hudson, yeah.
yeah, so he's really good. He got bronze in one event. I don't know if they're still competing or not, but yeah.
It's tight that there's X Games shit at the Olympics, though. I like that. Mm-hmm. They really kind of cover every like athletic base possible.
Yeah, I was thinking that they need to add more like obscure sports. Just like I want all the sports. Like it doesn't matter. Like
Has pickleball made it yet?
no, but like I would love to see pickleball.
I bet you it gets there soon.
yeah, I was thinking like bring in esports too. Like
Oh,
get
wow.
like do like a game of Warzone or like Fortnite.
okay.
Get like all the teams. Like
I think you're
run
onto something here.
run some squads and yeah, just see who comes out on top.
But countries,
Yeah.
like the best Call of Duty players in the U.S. versus the best Call of Duty players in China.
Yeah.
Who's not tuning in for that shit? This is how we bridge the gap between generations. Because like my generation, my people, they're not watching Twitch, bro. They're not tuning into video games being played on YouTube Live or whatever the other platforms are. But if you throw them in the Olympics and you make it about America, we'll watch.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll watch anything if it's about Team USA and being able to chant USA and hating other
just
countries.
proving that we're better than
Yes,
everyone else.
we will
in
watch
athletics.
literally
Yeah.
anything, and that I like that. I bet it happens in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Esports
For sure.
make it to the Olympics because like it is an underappreciated element of these pro gamers, the best of the best. Like their hand-eye coordination, like there is an athletic skill there.
Yeah.
Like these people are freaks.
I mean, there's a lot of focus that goes into
an
it too.
insane amount of focus. Yeah. It's mentally taxing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even more so than speed walking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen any of like the sharpshooting memes?
Yes, I have seen a lot of those. Those
These
have been
people.
great.
The amount of equipment that most of them have on, like an eye patch covering one eye, like a magnifier that goes over the other eye. They're wearing like wrist fucking supports.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy amount of
Got
gear.
the headphones
Giant
on.
headphones on, and they're up there just looking like a like a character out of some of these first-person shooter
Yeah,
video games.
like an anime character or some shit. Yeah.
And then that one dude rolled up with just his regular ass prescription glasses, tiny earplugs, and his hand in his pocket. And I'm pretty sure he got silver or bronze.
Yeah.
I can't remember what country he was from, but that dude was awesome. Had none of the other crazy high tech shit that these people have. He was just like, all right, fuck it.
He's just gonna wing it.
And it worked. But that was a big hit on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Lots and lots of memes around the sharpshooting.
Yeah. Oh, he had a quote that I saw.
See if you can pull it up.
It was great. Oh, he said, I did not need special equipment. I'm a natural shooter.
Oh,
That's such a tough line.
Yeah. A natural shooter. Good shit.
You know who isn't a natural shooter?
Who?
Us.
You and I?
No, just like us, the U.S.
Oh, we're not good at that?
No, we came in dead last, which is ironic.
How the fuck is that possible? With all the guns that we have? We're terrible at the sharpshooting?
I know. It was a shock for all of us.
That's embarrassing,
Yeah.
dude. That's embarrassing. I thought you were about to make a joke about the kid who tried to assassinate Trump as not being a natural shooter, and I was like, "Kid, don't do this, man.
I wasn't.
Don't do this."
I was gonna bring that up, but I did see other people bring that up.
My brain went in a completely different area. Also, dude, they have, so like obviously there's, Team USA men's basketball and women's basketball.
Yeah.
There was the controversy around like Caitlin Clark not going, which they
Yeah.
also already
Crushing
came out.
it.
They came out and said like, oh yeah, our bad. She definitely should have been here. Which is
Which
stupid.
I don't-
Just
I
fucking
don't-
stop addressing it. Like,
She's gonna be in plenty more. Like it's fine.
Yes,
She didn't
yes.
make the first one.
so there's regular basketball,
Yeah.
the 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday I turned it on There's 3-on-3 outdoor basketball.
Yeah, they've been doing this for a few years now, actually.
I didn't realize that. That they did like the sport itself and then variations of it, but it's like street ball. It's on a half court. You have to check the ball behind the 3-point line between possessions.
Yep.
It's bonkers. Like I did not realize that. Maybe I just have watched it before and completely forgot, but
Yeah, we're not doing so hot in 3-on-3 though.
the men's aren't.
No, we're both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're both 0-2.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, not great because, we usually dominate at basketball. I think we won 3-on-3 in the past too. But we have, for men's, I know we have Jimmer Fredette. You remember that legend?
Yeah. Old Jimmer.
Yeah. And
That's
then-
what he's doing now, huh?
Yeah, he's just crushing in 3-on-3. Or I guess not this year, but but yeah. So then the U.S. men's basketball team's just dominating everyone right now. It's not a shock.
It'll be that way till we get to the medal games.
Yeah. Worry about like France or Canada. They have some really great players in Dylan Brooks. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I still think we're going to destroy Canada.
I mean, we played them.
France is the only one where I'm like, they've got. I mean, that's between Gobert and Wembanyama. That's just a hard thing to get
tough,
around. It's a
yeah.
lot of height.
But I mean, it's a good thing we have 12 of the best NBA players in the world on our team. So.
We have like arguably at least 3 of the 25 greatest basketball players to ever play the sport currently on our team. Like right now.
Yeah.
Between LeBron, Steph Curry, and KD.
Yeah.
Like maybe 3 top 15 guys ever, which is, we should never lose. Like,
and then it's like, Steph had a really bad game yesterday. He had 1 point. Doesn't matter. We still beat South Sudan by 20.
Fucking Embiid did not play coach's decision, and the game before, Jason Tatum didn't play. Steve Kerr's having trouble rotating in all of the guys.
Well, I think that's more because just the matchups for you see him
definitely.
It didn't
but
he's
big headlines, media coverage around this has been excessive.
Yeah. I'm like,
oh my God, Jason Tatum won the NBA championship, and then he didn't even play in this game. He's also trying to conserve energy of different dudes, as needed. But yeah, it's a matchup thing, and again, like we just said, this is 15 of the greatest basketball players on earth. It's gonna be a struggle to get everybody involved for sure.
But yeah, that's been fun to watch. That's mainly what I've been watching, and then I'll just have the other sports on throughout the day. Been watching some handball and what's
handball is pretty tight.
Yeah, what's the one in the water?
Water polo.
Oh, water polo. Yeah,
that shit.
I've seen some of that.
So exhausting looking.
Yeah,
but pretty cool. I'm trying to find a medal count.
Oh, we're crushing it.
Okay, good.
I know we don't have the most golds.
Looks like we have 8 gold. China has 11, but we're at 35 medals. France is in second with 27, and China's in third with 23.
Yeah, and we still haven't even done the track stuff yet.
A lot of stuff.
I feel
yet
like
to
we
come.
still usually dominate in that too.
Isn't this a couple weeks all together? I think it's 2 weeks. The Olympics.
Yeah, if
I'm not mistaken. So a lot of good shit still coming down the pipeline. Swimming is kicking off. There's all kinds of swimming going on today.
Yep.
And,
Katie Ledecky. We have so many just iconic Olympic
generational athletes.
Yeah. I wonder if other countries have something similar. I know we're in the US, so we hear about the US athletes, but I'm is there's some dude in France that's just the goat at fencing or something that's just won 4 medals in a row.
Definitely. Regularly I'll be watching one of these random events and they'll be talking about this one fucker who's literally never lost and is a legend in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
I'm sick.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, brother. Anyway, if you're not watching the Olympics, tune in. It's good fun. We're in balls deep in the summer heat right now, and there's almost nothing I love more in the summer than spending time at the pool or at the beach, basking in the glow of the smoking hot sun. But like Spider-Man's uncle once said, with great sunshine comes great responsibility, and that responsibility is to keep yourself hydrated because when it's hot as hell outside, your body needs more liquids. Fortunately, today's episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. Liquid IV hydrates you with benefits like electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients in a single stick. It's clear why Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. Liquid IV is as easy as it gets. You simply tear open one of these convenient little packets, pour it into 16 ounces of water, shake or stir, depending on your preference, and enjoy the hydrating power of Liquid IV with a refreshing beverage that tastes fantastic. Taking care of yourself is important. Keeping yourself hydrated is a vital and crucial part of taking care of yourself, and Liquid IV is here to make sure that hydration is easier to achieve than ever. If you're like me and you're sometimes too busy or too forgetful to remember to drink enough water every day, Liquid IV makes getting your daily hydration in simple and more delicious. Tear, pour, live more. One stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. 8 vitamins and nutrients, non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. No artificial colors or sweeteners. 4 delicious sugar-free flavors: white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. A zero hydration solution with no artificial sweeteners, clinically tested to hydrate more than water alone. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code ROSS at liquidiv.com. Speaking of sports, I played golf a couple weekends ago for the first time since 2020, and I don't think I got to give you an update on how it went, really. But it went well.
That's good. What did you shoot?
Well, it was in a scramble group, so you don't keep individual score that way.
Okay.
It's like...
What is scramble? Because I've heard of this,
Yeah.
and I don't.
It's actually a really, really fun way to play golf if you're doing like a bachelor party, or like in this case, it was a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 3 groups, all right? 4 people in each group is what you would normally have. We had 4 in one, 3 in the other 2. But just to explain scramble to you real quick, let's say there's 3 groups, 4 people in each group. You each hit a drive off of the tee box. You pick the best ball, and you all hit from that ball. So from that spot.
Okay.
Let's say the first guy hits his tee shot right down the middle. It lands in the fairway. The next 3 of you hit it off into the woods. It doesn't matter. You all go play your next shot from the one that landed in the middle of the fairway. Then, let's say that shot, like you all land on the green, but one ball is closer than the other 3. Well, you all putt from that shot. So it's like you play the best shot every single time as a team.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So in this case,
do you like keep a team score?
You keep a team score. So like your team, your score on each hole is collective.
Yeah.
So you should be getting below par playing in a scramble.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, your scramble team sucks ass, which mine was not great. It's me, who hadn't played golf since 2020, Barrett, who's, a decent golfer, but also has not played a lot over the last several years, and Dan Regester, former coworker of mine and actually multiple-time guest on RBP. And Dan can drive the ball really far, but he's like... We're all about the same skill level, I would say, all things considered, me, Barrett, and Dan. And Barrett's obviously my co-host on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. But our dumbasses all showed up at different times, so we ended up with 3 golf carts with 1 person in each cart. So I had a golf cart, Dan had a golf cart, and Barrett had a golf cart. And we're just driving around like fucking idiots. But we had a lot of fun. I got out there early. I think our tee time was like 8:50. I was feeling good. Had a solid first drive onto the fairway, like my first drive in 4 years, which that was like, if that had been the only good shot I hit all day, I would have been happy I was out there.
But you had more than just the one.
More than just the one.
That's
I got
good.
up onto the green after that shot, drove up to the green with the golf cart, got out of the cart, and realized I forgot my putter.
That's important when you're putting on the green.
Didn't have a putter the entire 18 holes, but because it was a scramble, it wasn't that big of a deal. I just used either Barrett's or Dan's on every hole. It was hot as shit out there, man. It's tough in July and August playing golf in Texas. It's like it's not for the faint of heart at all.
Did you do 18 or 9?
We did 18, and I probably drank like 120 ounces of water over the course of, like, I was pounding liquid IVs. It was devastatingly hot out there. And this is, like I said, we teed off at 8:50, so early in the morning, like by 9:30, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long fucking day. And
yeah, because when you do 18, you're out there for like 4 hours.
4 plus hours.
Yeah.
4 plus hours, for sure. And even as a younger man, like in my early 20s, even in college, like playing 18 holes of golf in the dead of summer, takes like the next day you still feel it. You're like the sun takes it out of you. Now at 37, 18 holes of golf, like I'm probably still recovering. It was 2 weeks ago. But that's how tired it made me. Like the next day I felt like I got hit by a bus. But it was a lot of fun. I was really happy to be back out there again, and it really did like I'm now the age where I'm the age that golf was made for.
Yeah.
Middle-aged men with families and kids at home that they never get away from, that just want to be outside with the boys having a few beverages for about 4.5 hours before they have to return to reality. I am now the target audience for golf, and it made me really want to get out there like at least once a month to try and play because it is super fun. And like I don't do anything athletic with my life anymore.
No, you're just lifting
aside
weights.
from lift weights and shoot hoops in my driveway alone. So this is like a semi-competitive athletic event that was literally invented for me. So I need to start getting back out there. And other sports news, because I can't get this out of my head. You know Scottie Pippen,
Yeah, I know Scotty.
right? Who is Scottie Pippen to you? Like what is?
I mean, I just know him as like, he was on the Bulls with Jordan, kind of like the Robin to Jordan.
He was like his right-hand man, right?
Yeah.
He gets a ton of credit as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm. But like he was before my time.
Both of our times, really. And Jordan is the 1A guy. Scottie Pippen was like the 1B. He was, a vital part of the Bulls championship dynasty. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the only thing you've heard about Scottie Pippen over the past 10 years is like how big of a douchebag he is, or how Michael Jordan's son is piping his ex-wife.
Yeah. And Future.
Oh, yeah. And Future piped his ex-wife and made the song Gucci Flip-Flops about it, I believe. Or what's that song called?
Thought It Was a Drought.
Is that what the song is called?
Yeah.
But it's the one where he's like, I just fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops.
Yeah.
He apparently wrote that literally right after piping whatever Pippen.
Yeah.
Scottie Pippen as a person is a loser. As a basketball player, he was a winner. But he's one of these guys that like, since retiring from the game and getting out into the real world, every time he's in the news or on social media, I'm just like, God, I wish I never had to see Scottie Pippen again because it's ruining his legacy for me. It's got even worse yesterday when I saw a tweet from Scottie Pippen pop up in my timeline that is just a straight-up crypto scam. This was the tweet. I had a dream I met Satoshi Nakamoto last night. I believe Satoshi Nakamoto is the like fake pen name of the person who invented Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He didn't see me as just another player. Instead, Satoshi was proud that I was opening a new lane for hashtag RWA in the crypto market. Bringing the Game 5 ball to the blockchain lets me pass history to the community, innovate sports, and bring a real-world sports object to decentralization. Satoshi said, if you don't believe me or don't get RWA, I don't have time to try to convince you. Sorry. Where there's Satoshi, there's room to be the best. Be like Satoshi. Basketball emoji, and then a URL to this fucking blockchain basketball he's putting out, which it comes out in 2 hours and 40 minutes and 40 seconds, apparently. Only available on Ethereum August 1st, it says. But the pitch from the website is that Scottie Pippen has the Game 5 championship ball from 1991, the actual physical basketball.
Okay.
And somehow, as far as I can tell, the idea is that you go here and you buy like a piece of the ball on the blockchain so that it's yours for, I really don't know. It's a scam. All these fucking celebrities keep pulling these crypto scams like they can't stop or help themselves.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised this is even like a thing. So I feel like, with the Bored Ape or whatever, like all those like cryptos just like plummeted. Like I don't know, like
the market fell apart.
How people are still falling for this.
I really don't know. I really, really don't know, and I don't understand.
I also saw like he had like a picture with it too, and it was like very clearly like AI generated too. It just looked like dog shit.
Yeah, the whole thing is. It's a mess, dude.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Don't buy this. If you're listening and you're like, "Oh, I love that Game 5 ball." Don't do it.
Big Scottie Pippen fans.
Yeah. It's such a fucking like I'm just scrolling through the website and I'm like, this is just a scam. Like that's what this is. everything about it reeks of scam, and yet
And so wait, are they getting like an actual piece of this ball, or is it?
No,
it's virtual.
it's virtual.
So you don't even
the
really get
tokens represent a fractional share in the value of the 1991 Game 5 championship ball and not physical ownership of the ball. It says until all 3 phases of the project are complete and the NFT is attached to the utility token, the physical ball remains in the possession of the custodian, Scottie Pippen. By acquiring Game 5 ball tokens, you are participating in a community-driven project that merges sports history with blockchain technology, which is mumbo jumbo for we are ripping you off. We are developing and building an RWA with the community, and this project is not affiliated with any sports leagues or organizations. All trademarks are the property of their respective owners. I guess the idea is that if you buy into the ball and the value of the ball goes up, your coin will go up in theory. But that is idiotic. And why anybody would want to do this, I cannot honestly understand. So anyway, that's where we're at. It's not good. But there are other good things online, like today's other sponsor, Shopify. Jordan and Pippen, Kobe and Shaq, LeBron and D Wade, Tatum and Brown. So what about the perfect duo when it comes to growing your business? That's you and Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify is there to help you grow, whether you're selling merchandise for your podcast like we do, or handmade kaleidoscopes. Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so you can focus on successfully growing your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Selling merchandise for our podcast here at Bolin Media is an important supplemental revenue source for our company. It allows us to provide our biggest fans and supporters with shirts and hats and coffee mugs that they can wear and use in real life to show their support for our brands. Shopify can be the platform that enables you to connect with your supporters in the same way. I've used Shopify extensively. It is amazing. It is very, very straightforward and easy to understand. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to help support your business and success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/RBP, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/RBP now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/RBP. So Cade and I are in the week before the final week.
This really is the final week.
I guess.
I mean,
yeah, well, technically now, yeah, we're in the last 7-day stretch, but we'll have 2 episodes to do next week.
Yeah.
The point is, House of the Dragon Season 2 only has 1 episode remaining. It's the finale. Unfortunately, it leaked online, which I fucking feel like happened with the Season 1 finale, too. I can't really remember, though. That was like
I think so.
2021, wasn't it?
Surprised me, yeah.
Or 2022. Anyway, if you're watching House of the Dragon, stay safe online over the next few days, because undoubtedly there will be spoilers everywhere, which is really, really annoying, and I don't understand how this happens. It shouldn't be that hard to keep this shit on lock if you're HBO. Alas, some dickhead got a hold of it, leaked it.
No, we were worrying about book spoilers throughout the season.
Now we got this.
Yeah.
Real pain in the balls.
Mm-hmm. Just can't even be on the For You page on Twitter.
But just root for Cade and I to survive the next week and a half, because we've gone through a grueling 8-week stretch of nonstop content creation. As I've explained before, when House of the Dragon is on and when Oysters, Clams, and Cockles is in what I would call its busy season, is when we have the most eyes and ears on Bolin Media by far. There's just a shit ton of people who love Oysters, Clams, and Cockles as far as Game of Thrones properties go, and as far as House of the Dragon goes. We're very appreciative of all of them, without a doubt. But it does present a unique challenge to our very small company, where it is pretty much Cade doing the production for every single episode that I record, both the audio and the video, and then also creating marketing materials. Like all of the clips that you see pumped out on social media are all edited and created by Cade. I'm having to write every episode and record every episode and then push that marketing out with all the captions and all the hashtags on every different platform. It's literally nonstop for 8 straight weeks, and we're almost at the finish line, which I know both of us are very excited about. I feel so tired. just so many dragon takes, dude. Like, it gets to the point where when we're this many weeks deep, like, we were recording OCC's Patreon yesterday, and I'm talking about, like, Vermithor, the dragon. And it's like I'm talking about real world news or, like, sports.
Yeah.
But it's a fantasy TV show. But after so many weeks in a row, it becomes real. Like, it's a real thing in my brain. Like, I'm dead serious talking about Vermithor, the dragon. And I'll just have this realization in the middle of the show, like, what is this? What am I doing? How is this my job? This is so fucking ridiculous. But I love doing it. It's super fun. It's just weird how it gets. I take it so seriously, especially after so many weeks in a row of just nonstop. Like, I'm dreaming about Westeros at this point, and that's probably not healthy.
Well, there's another thing you can talk about in therapy.
Yeah. Which, oh shit, it's in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Well, anyway, the point is, House of the Dragon season 2 finale is this Sunday. If you, for whatever reason, are just now finding out that we do a House of the Dragon podcast, it's called Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I don't know how that could be possible if you're following me and listening to my show. Surely you know that we do this. But if you didn't, go listen to all the other episodes. We have a companion podcast for every single episode of House of the Dragon. Oysters, Clams, and Cockles will continue in the off season between House of the Dragon Season 2 and Season 3, including coverage of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms next year. But we're going to do, like, The Bear Season 3 immediately after House of the Dragon ends next week. And we'll have a bunch of other fun stuff lined up for the rest of the year on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, so make sure you check that out. And, of course, check out Jared's Formula One show at Formula Bone on all the social media platforms, and you can watch on youtube.com/@FormulaBone. He's covering all the F1 races all season long. I believe they are now on summer break. But in a few weeks, F1 will pick back up with the second half of the season, which has become probably the most interesting season of the last 3. Since Jared started doing Formula Bone, I'd say this is the most interesting season with the most diversity in terms of winners, and, like, Verstappen's not just, like, crushing every race by 30 seconds. So it's been fun to watch. If you're a Houston sports fan, check out Banging the Can, where I talk about Houston sports. Our most recent episode this week, I talk about the MLB trade deadline and all the Astros fans freaking out because we traded a 25-year-old outfielder. That'll do it for today's show. We will be back tomorrow on patreon.com/Ross Bolin podcast with another ad-free exclusive episode available only to our supporters on Patreon. Please support our sponsors by hitting the links in the description of this episode and using our dedicated codes when they exist. That's how we pay the bills here at Bolin Media. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at WRBolin. Mr. Cade, where can the people follow you?
You can follow me on all the social media platforms at Kade Orris. That's KadeOrris.
Go to youtube.com/@the-Ross-Bolin podcast for full video of our show, plus funny clips in the form of YouTube shorts. Until next time, remember, you are not alone. Peace be with you, and also with you.